Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Marna Ricker, Global Vice Chair of Tax at EY, to discuss navigating global tax developments in the current state of tax talent. Marna, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill. Nice to be with you.
You got it. And can you set the stage for the latest in the world of tax? What are some of the biggest changes impacting the industry?
Yeah, we're seeing quite a bit, and I think you have to sort of step back and understand what's happening really on the economic front first. And so we're sort of termed what's called a poly crisis, really, from a government perspective. So COVID-19, the war in Ukraine, and obviously now Israel, climate-led disasters, inflation, upending, never-ending geopolitics. And so those are really some of the things that are obviously impacting the economy. When it impacts the economy, it impacts tax ultimately. So we're seeing the introduction and acceleration of new global tax legislation like CBAM and BEPS 2.0, so base erosion and profit shifting. Big changes in supply chain disruption, certainly. And then we're certainly seeing rapid adoption of technology. That impacts tax. Two big things you see there then is new skills and talent shortage. And so new skills meaning technology skills, process skills, and ultimately data skills in tax. And then we have a big shortage of tax professionals that we're focused on. So those would be the two big things, but again, all impacted by the business landscape.
Well, let's learn more about the current tax talent market. You said before that it is shrinking. What's the current state of it? What are some of the skills that are lacking there?
It is. Demand is going up, supply is shrinking. And so maybe talk about the demand slide first. And so what we saw in our latest tax and finance survey, so again, that is 1,600 people that we survey ultimately, we found that from a demand side that over 2/3 of the departments don't have enough highly skilled people to focus on all this legislation that I was just talking about that's coming at them in the world. On the supply side, 300,000 accountants and auditors left the tax profession over the last 2 years. And we're finding that not enough are coming in and studying finance and accounting. So we know that there's a big talent crunch ultimately in that industry ultimately. So there's really a need to keep attracting and retaining those skills. So you asked me a second question, I think, ultimately, which is what factors do we think will bring more talent into the industry ultimately? And so look, let me first say that careers in tax and accounting are changing. And so that's really happening through technology. I think we'll get to that question. Ultimately, I suspect you're going to ask me about technology and its impact, but let's talk about the three things that we're hearing in terms of retaining talent or bringing talent into the industry beyond compensation. People always care about compensation. So three big things we're hearing: flexibility and control, number one; learning and development, number two; and then people really still care quite a bit about diversity and inclusion. So first, let's talk about control and flexibility and opportunities within their career. So again, we love surveys. What we learned in our Work Reimagined survey is that 84% of employers believe that offering flexibility will have really a positive impact on career recruitment, and 63% of employees agree. So a really nice match there in terms of flexibility. So we continue to focus on that. Second, you must be a world-class learning and development organization. There's just no two ways about it. So really focused on making sure that we're in that place. So, here we're really focused on our tech and sustainability MBA programs. We have over 227 badges. So you really want to make sure that you have really world-class learning and development. And then finally, we need diversity of thought and diversity of experiences in order for people to succeed. So you really want to make sure that you have that inside your organization. So again, we had a belonging barometer, and then again, people said that 63% of respondents said that they would join an organization that has DE&I at the top of their agenda ultimately. So I think you want to get those three things right. If you get those three things right, you're going to bring more talent ultimately into the organization. One other thing, traditionally we were focused on accounting professionals, really lawyers. We're really focused now on a much broader group of STEM mathematicians. So really broadening the base of the type of people we're bringing into the profession.
And perfect segue for our next question. How will emerging technologies impact the tax function, and how will this impact the way that tax professionals operate?
Yeah, so it is AA's moment is now. There is no two different. That's in every industry, but certainly that is in tax as well. And so, it's real-time reporting and downward pressures on budgets, are certainly happening everywhere in the back office. Tax is no exception to that. And what we found, again, coming back to that TFO survey, I talked about that tax and finance survey, 3/4 of the departments found that their people are spending time on what we call routine compliance, reporting, reconciliation type functions. And they really want to be focusing their time on their highest level thinking, really adding value ultimately to the business. And transformative technologies like Gen AI will allow for that. And so that's really what we're seeing is that impact. And so it will change how we do individual tax, corporate tax, and ultimately it will change what governments do in the collection of tax as well. And so probably what I'm most excited about for the application of Gen AI is three big things. It will liberate, I think, tax professionals from, doing, I'll call it that, more routine compliance and reporting type functions. So efficiency and productivity in those processes. It will really expose a wealth of unstructured data. It'll allow you to be conversational with your data. So imagine being able to have a conversation with your data about insights, trends, predictions about where your effective rate is going or what the amount of VAT you pay in the world. So really cool conversations with your data, if you think about that. And then really the opportunity to empower individuals to play to their highest degree, their highest level of education and thinking. So those are probably the three big things that I'm excited about in how Gen AI will impact the tax world.
All right, Marna, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.